Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Planetarium show. My name is Jessica. I'm the director of the Planetarium, and with me tonight we've got a full house. I'm very excited. We've got three of our students here, and I will let them all say hi and introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Len. I'm a student here at UMD, and I'm a physics teaching major.
Hi, I'm Braden. I'm a vocal music ed student here at UMD. You've probably seen me at least a couple of times on these live streams.
And hi, I'm Luis. I'm a chemical engineering student here at UMD.
And she's laying down right now, but our fifth member is Nova, who has once again joined me on the desk. So just if something goes funky in the stream, she probably pressed a button. So just like to put that warning out there. Anyway, so we are tonight doing our monthly installment of Ask an Astronomer, where we are here to answer your questions. So I don't think we have any in. I can't hear. Is anyone else having issues with audio?
Oh, that's my mom. I think. One sec.
Okay. I will keep going, but it looks like all the audio is good on my end.
I'm here. It's coming through on my end.
Okay.
I have it pulled up on.
Okay.
So it's probably just her phone. I'm gonna text her.
Okay. All right. Good. Good to know that. So we have had audio issues in the past, so it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, everything looks good on our end. So like I said, we're here to answer your questions. So if you got them, go put them in the comments, and we will wait for that to happen. I know we also have some fun and interesting like current events in astronomy that we can discuss as well as we wait for questions to come in. And I figure I will go ahead and kick it off with something that I know a lot of people are wanting to know more about. We've gotten questions about it at our in-person shows at the Planetarium, and that is the comet that is currently coming by. So there is a comet. It's C 2022 E3. It's a very fun name for a comet. But it is making its way back around the sun. It was last visible from Earth, they're estimating about 50,000 years ago, I believe. So it's been a while since it's been here. As it's making its way around the sun, it's already made its closest approach to the sun. But it hasn't made its closest approach to Earth yet. So as it makes its way around, we're going to see the comet hopefully get brighter. It's still up in the air how bright the comet is going to get. Right now, it is not visible to the naked eye. You do have to have a pair of binoculars or a telescope or a camera that can do extended time shots. There is some models that suggest that by the closest approach to Earth, which is going to be February 1st, that it will be bright enough to see with the naked eye. But how bright that's going to be, we still don't quite know because it depends on a lot of things. The brightness of the comet is from the sunlight reflecting off of all of the gas and dust that's surrounding the comet. And how much that will grow or change between now and then is a little bit difficult to estimate. So there are chances we could see it naked eye by the end of the month. But if you want to try and go see it for yourself, here, let me switch over to this view. It is slowly making its way across the northeast sky. So that is where you would want to look, ideally before dawn. So early morning is when you want to go out and look for it. And it's going to be, like I said, following this path kind of northeast to north is where you would search for it. And yeah, that's about all the updates I've got on the comet. I know there have been some really cool pictures that have been taken so far. I'm just eager to see if it does become, naked eye visible, which I think would be very cool because I don't think I've seen a comet since I was a kid. I don't think because I didn't get to go see Neowise. But yeah, I think the last one, I think it might have been either Hale Bopp or Haley's when I was a kid. I don't know, have any of y'all gotten to see a comet?
I don't think so.
It is really cool when you can see it.
Yeah.
Hi, Nova. All right. So that is your comet update. And if there's anything new, I will, share it. I know when it makes its closest approach, there are a couple of observatories that are going to be doing live streams, so that you can get a chance to see it, and we will make sure to share those when that happens. So, yeah. All right. Well, I'm not seeing any questions coming through yet, so let's move on to one of you guys' topics. Who wants to go?
Any preference?
I can start us out if you guys want.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. So I was reading an article today about this gamma ray burst that was observed back last January, or I guess, yeah, like last month, January, not like last January. And this gamma ray burst was really important because it lasted for a few minutes, but they figured out that it was something called a kilonova, which is what happens when two neutron stars or a neutron star and a black hole collide with each other. And so usually those are really short, like seconds long events, but this one was a couple minutes long, which was very exciting because these kind of events are what release a lot of like heavy metals into our universe, which, as we know, are, important for a lot of things. So it's just really cool that they are discovering new things about these really high energy events.
Yeah, and gamma ray bursts are I did a little bit with them in some research in my undergrad. Um, they are difficult to study because like stop Nova, stop pressing buttons. Okay. Um, because they are generally very quick. I mean, usually seconds, minute long ones are extremely rare. Nova, stop pushing buttons. Come on. Okay. Um, and they're so quick and they can happen anywhere. Like, there's no real predicting. And so, what gamma ray astronomer or gamma ray burst astronomers have to do is they have just networks of telescopes that just watch, hoping that one will happen. And really, Nova? And when they do, there's an alert sent out to all of the astronomers in that network to go, hey, gamma ray burst detected. Go point your telescopes over here. It's wild. Like we were on call for a couple of nights just to get experience with that, and it was crazy. Just waiting for it to happen, waiting for telescopes to maybe catch something. Um, okay, I'm gonna attempt to fix my camera that I don't know what Nova did to it. In the meantime, I know we did get a question, but I'm gonna pass it. Wait, maybe? No? No camera? How about Brayden? You want to do yours, and then we'll answer the question once I figure out what's going on with my camera.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so the article that I found is talks about a contract between NASA and the Boeing airplane company. They essentially they're working together to create sustainable aircraft. Hopefully, by 2030, that's when we will start to see that these aircrafts being used. 2028 is when the aircraft should start to be tested, but essentially is that the main reason why I bring this up is that if this is successful, Boeing will start to transfer all their aircraft to this, and hopefully that would get them to net zero by 2050. Net zero carbon emissions, that is. And it's a very interesting article. It gets more and more into like you know there's like the actual like specifics of like the budget that NASA's giving for like for like Boeing and stuff. But it's a very interesting article, and something that especially with like climate change right now, and like everything that we've seen from like the UN, that what was that thing that came out like a couple of years back. It's good to see some companies still really pushing forward these net zero emissions. Anyways, there's nothing really else to go into with that. It's because they're still in test phases of it, so there's not a whole lot about the actual what the aircraft is even like running on. So, but all I know is that
No, it's
they're
still
working on
very cool.
sustainability. Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
especially we are in, I mean, a global community. Being able to travel places, especially, I mean, just bringing it to astronomy, being able to travel to like telescope locations, which tend to be remote, um, being able to do that more sustainably would be amazing and
Yes.
would mean we can continue to do this. So, yeah, that's awesome. All right, I'm back. I'm gonna restart my camera. I don't know what she did to it. Um, but to answer the question that is in the chat, we got asked, are there any planets visible right now? And yes, all of them at some point in the darkness in the night. Right now, after sunset, you have Venus over in the west, just after sunset. And then once it gets a little bit darker, you have Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars, which are all visible. And then I think Mercury isn't out yet, but should be coming out at the end of the month. And that will be in the morning, just before dawn. Um, we actually have full information on this in, I think it was 2 weeks ago, the January What's Up edition, or What's Up January edition. So you can always go check that out and see full like sky charts of where things are located and when. But yeah, there is a chance to see all of the planets right now, which is always nice. All right, Louise, you want to go?
Yes, yes, I will. Oh. So I found an article talking about the, I guess this was about a week ago or so, but it was basically just talking about the James Webb Telescope finding an exoplanet that is relatively close in size to Earth. And so I'm just going to share my screen here.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll go with this one. So yeah, and so it's going to be the planet here, LSH 475b, and this planet and the star that it revolves around is in the constellation of Octans, which is a southern hemisphere constellation. From what I found online, it's basically like super southern. Like there's no chance for us to see it at all, which is kind of a bummer. But I mean, I guess we'd need a really nice telescope to actually see it. But so from here, I have I found this NASA posting to show just how, since it is a planet that is our size, it's fairly small, around that revolves around or goes around a pretty dim, not dwarf star.
Yeah,
It's a
it's a
small
dwarf.
red.
It's a red dwarf
Oh, it
star.
is. Perfect. But yeah, and this is kind of like a quantifying of the data that they collected, and you can kind of see on this left-hand side, just anytime the planet goes in front of the star is kind of how we pick things up in uh, basically anywhere that's not here in our own solar system, and you can see that it's basically the slightest margins that we can actually see a planet like that, basically.
Yeah,
And
what is
so,
that? Like a tenth of a percent?
yeah, it's super small, which is kind of cool. But it's cool that we can pick up on it, but it's such a small margin of like you really need to get the data and just compile it all just to actually see the clumps,
Yeah,
basically. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I was looking into
well, that's
this.
awesome. James Webb's first planet.
Yeah,
Just, I swear, I mean, this telescope is
exciting.
just doing everything, right? Galaxies, things within our own galaxy, things within our
Pictures.
solar system, finding planets. Like, and then I know one of the benefits with James Webb, like, not only has it found it, but if the planet has an atmosphere, it can measure that and figure out what the atmosphere is made of, which could tell us if the planet's habitable. Which I know this
Hmm.
particular one is probably not. I think what I read said it's a couple hundred degrees
Yeah,
hotter than
they're
Earth.
they're thinking like some sort of like Venus idea with
Yeah,
this
because
planet.
it's, I mean, it is going around a very, very small dim star, which means to be at Earth temperature, you would have to be closer than we are to our sun. But it's still closer than that. I think I read it takes like 2 days to complete an orbit around the
Yep,
star.
2 days.
Um, so but it's 99% the size of Earth. I think that's what makes me the most excited about this is not finding necessarily a habitable Earth, but finding something Earth-sized. Like as you saw what Louis showed you, it blocks the tiniest bit of the star's light. And that's why for so long, like the planets that we have found tend to be really big planets because they're easier to find. But we're getting to the point where we're able to find Earth-sized planets, which is very exciting because that's what we're interested in. No, I'm Nova. You're not going back to that side of my desk. You messed up my camera last time. Um, it's exciting just seeing we are capable of doing that, and of course James Webb doing its first planet is just nice. So tacking onto that, I had found NASA has a program called Exoplanet Exploration. Let me go ahead and share this, which is what we call a citizen science project. It's a way for you, non-professional astronomers, to do real astronomy. And so what they're looking for with Exoplanet Watch is two different ways that you can participate. One way is to use your telescope to observe exoplanet systems and take observations and give the data to NASA. So it's a way of being able to get lots of time observing by using multiple telescopes all at the same time. So you could use your own home setup to contribute real data and real science to NASA and to finding more about exoplanets. Now, if you don't have a telescope set up that would work for this, the other thing you can do is look at all of the data that's come in. And I know that sounds scary, but just like we saw with what Louise showed, basically you would be looking at plots like this and looking for these dips that happen on regular occurrences. So it's pattern recognition. That's all it is going through and kind of flagging the systems that go, hey, that looks like it's an exoplanet. I'm going to flag this, and if enough people flag it, then that'll go to the NASA scientists, and they're like, okay, that's one that we need to look at, and it helps to weed out all of the data that's not important for what they're doing, not going to lead to an exoplanet discovery. So I just think it's really cool that it's a way for people to get actually involved in doing this. This isn't the first citizen science that's ever been done in astronomy. If you're interested in others, there's something called Galaxy Zoo, which is amazing and so much fun. But it's another citizen science. But I'm going to pop back over here so that I can go in the chat and put the link to Exoplanet Watch for anyone who is interested in that. Because it's just, I think it's really cool. And yes, Nova, it is very cool. She agrees.
I found another thing with exoplanets.
Mhm.
I'm just on NASA's website, and they have this thing called the Exoplanet Travel Bureau, and
We
it's
we have a couple of the posters put up in the planetarium.
Mhm.
if I remember, we have don't we have the Kepler 16b?
And I think we have the Pegasi
so
51, I think.
here I'll share my screen real
Yeah.
quick, and I'll show. Yeah.
They have a bunch of Halloween themed ones from a few years back as well, which are really cool. They're just, I have like 5 of them on my wall. They're really, really cool.
Okay, so here we got
Yeah.
they're just so cool. I do think Kepler 16b is my favorite of them all, just because I love the where your shadow always has company. That's such a cool logo. Okay, I'll scroll through these a little bit here.
Yeah, there's some great ones. And I know we have some nice prints of some of them. I just haven't had time to figure out where to put them in the planetarium. But I also know that we have some that are duplicates, and I've kind of had the idea in the back of my mind of like maybe raffling those out at like Astronomy Day or something. Because it's a cool little poster to have.
It is.
So I don't know if anyone out there would be interested in that. Let me know. I've also already got another idea for a big raffle for Astronomy Day. I don't think I've told you guys yet. I'll tell you after. I'm not gonna spill everything
Spoil it.
on the stream yet because we are in the very, very beginning stages of planning Astronomy Day. But I'll tell you 3 later. No, but they're really cool. I know we used them a couple years ago when we did our virtual summer camp. Because the idea at the time was for the kids to ultimately pick a exoplanet and build a habitat that would survive on that exoplanet. And so we used those to kind of get ideas of like what it might be like to actually live there. They've got cool simulations of like what the surfaces of the planets look like. It's a lot of fun, and the kids did fabulous with it. All right. Let's see. I'm not seeing any other questions. So, when is Astronomy Day? We don't know yet.
Great question.
It's going to be in April. We have 2 dates that we are picking between right now, and part of that is our community partners that I want to get involved in it as well. We're checking availability with everyone. But as soon as we have the date set, I will put the information out. But it's going to be in April. That's as much as we have decided right now. But we're working. We just got back for the semester, so we're working on it. All right. So I think I had one more thing. No, I had 2 more things. Going with James Webb again. This is like the newest image that James Webb has put out, and like I had to at least show it because it's beautiful. Like, so this is a star forming region. You got some new stars forming there, and it's beautiful. And this might become like my phone background because I love it. I love it. And then lastly, we do have a little update on Perseverance and Jenny. Don't want to ignore them with all the James Webb buzz, but they are still doing their thing over on Mars. Ingenuity has had 39 flights at this point, which is mind-boggling to me. And Perseverance has been taking rock samples and has started depositing rock samples for pickup by future missions so that we can actually bring samples back to Earth and have samples to work with in the lab. Because while things like Curiosity and Perseverance, I mean, they're basically science labs on wheels rolling around Mars, right? There's only so much that you can do because you have limited space, you have limited power. You kind of have to prioritize like what you want, what science you want to be done. But being able to bring samples back means we can do even more with it, tests that we can't do with Perseverance and Curiosity. So that's kind of the next stage that NASA is looking at. Is Perseverance has collected these samples and it's depositing them across the surface of Mars, and there will be future missions to go and pick those up and bring them back home. And I just like this picture because it's Perseverance got a little spot of Ingenuity sitting on a sand dune right over there. So they're still doing great over on Mars. In sadder news, we have lost one of our Mars robots, not a rover, but the lander, the Mars Insight. It's because I don't know, Lynn, have you heard anything? Because I haven't heard anything since. I don't think it's come back online.
No, like I think that was just the end of it entirely. The last image that it sent is just so sad. I saw it and I was just it's so tragic because it's like they humanize the robots so much, especially like through the Twitter account, and then like the robots stop working and they have these like super dramatic like final messages, and it's so sad. Yeah.
But I know the issue. It's solar panels. That's the word. Were too covered in dust, and there's no way to clean them because it's a lander. It's not a rover or anything. And this is something was expected within the lifetime of Insight. So yeah, its solar panels were too covered up. It wasn't getting enough energy, so it shut down, and that's it for Insight, which did some really cool stuff looking at things like Mars quakes, so earthquakes on Mars, which help us learn more about what's going on inside the planet, just like we do with earthquakes here on Earth. I know it did like wind readings, temperature readings. Like, there was a lot of cool stuff that Insight was doing. And yeah, it's said its farewell. Sad. Between that and what was it, Curiosity, like singing itself happy birthday after its first year on Mars. It was so sad. NASA's social media is on it. Like they do such a good job.
That's just such a funny thing.
Because I mean I do think of these little robots as like little pets.
Yeah, they're little dudes.
It's like a dog we sent to Mars.
Yeah. And it's sad. Oh, all right. I think that is everything that I had to talk about. I think we've cycled through everyone as well. So let's do, just like double checking all of my tabs. Let's do one last call for questions. In the meantime, I will show you guys our schedule for this week. So for our in-person shows at the Planetarium, Friday is Adventure to the Edge of the Universe, which is exactly what it sounds like. And then Saturday, we still have Earth, Moon, Sun, and Oasis in Space, which Len and Brayden, y'all saw for the first time. Or no, Brayden, you saw it the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Len, were you there for that one? Yeah, you were there for that one. No, you were
Sun,
with.
Earth, Moon, Sun.
You weren't there for the evening. No, it was some. Okay, I'm getting confused to who worked last weekend. I don't know, it's a really fun. It's Oasis in Space is all about kind of the search for water, which is we think necessary for life. So it's a cool movie. And then next week's stream is a very special one. We have a new show created by Braden, Avatar: The Last Constellation, which is taking a look at the astronomy topics and influences on the Avatar: The Last Airbender show, which I'm super excited to see.
It'll be a good time. I'm excited.
And it's our first kind of new show that we've had in a while. So come see it. Come support our Braden. And yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm excited.
My mom wants to see Nova. She was
Nova,
like texting me, can we see Nova? And I'm like,
she jumped down about 5 minutes ago,
oh
and I
no.
don't know where she went. So
She has places to be, people to see.
I mean, she's queen. She's got to go check on her kingdom.
I get it.
So, but I promise next time she's here for stream, I will make sure to show her. All right. Well, I think we will wrap it up there. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. We hope you had fun learning some cool. My brain is not working today. Current events. That's the words. And we had fun answering your questions. We try to do this about once a month. So between now and then, if you think of any other things that you want to know about, jot them down, save them for us, and come see us next month. All right. Have a wonderful evening, a great week, and we hope to see you again next time. Bye, everyone.